2 places since the start. Round the outside line goes Danny, who now goes for the race lead, but he's fighting back on Prix for life at the minute, and the Red Bull just about holding his position. And here for round 5 is going to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Malou wins here in Baku. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Welcome along to Formula OB-1 here at 10:30 in the morning in the United Kingdom. Of course, a lot later over there in Australia, but 7 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock for your qualifying session. I do apologise about the late start. My game decided it didn't want to work as soon as we loaded in, which was a bit of a shame. But 9 drivers join us. And it's not looking too bad, to be fair. The attendance was showing about 4, and then we've managed to pull a few more from that. So really nice to see, and glad we've got a few more drivers this evening. 1 away from that 10, and 7 minutes remaining of this session. Every single driver has set a time on the board so far, and the quickest driver at the minute is Wabin with a 1:28.015. Just about out of the 1 minute 27s, but still time for him to go again, and he's already on an outlap ready to go once more. He can absolutely go round and improve on his previous lap time. Into the 1 minute 27s is absolutely possible for the Racing Bull. He hasn't got a teammate here tonight to assist him with any slipstreams down the straights here in Saudi Arabia, but we have still got a good night of racing ahead of us, especially for Wabin, who's currently the quickest man on the track. Here for the 4th round of the season then in Formula OB-1, and of course, as you can see, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. The format for tonight is short qualifying and a 50% race, and of course we've nearly done all of the qualifying. We've only got a few minutes remaining, but I've had a bit of an issue at the start, so I really do apologise about that. But Wabin on a lap very soon. George, currently on the front row of the grid, has invalidated on his second go around, it's looking like here. So that'll be the end of his lap at the moment. We've got Gaza in P3 in the McLaren, and heading all the way down towards the final corner. He's going to go foot flat to the floor now towards the line here in Saudi. Is this going to be an improvement from him? P4 is it best at the minute for Gaza. Over the line for him then. Will it be an improvement? It's going to be a 1/10 of a second found. Still P4 for the McLaren here. And no drastic improvements for him. A 1/10 of a second nearly, and doesn't gain any places, but about 100th of a second behind George here, so not much at all between them with 5 minutes remaining. And we've got a really, really good end to this session coming up then with the drivers setting their final time of the day in due course. Wabin's already out there in the Racing Bull, a 28.0 then just about in the 1 minute 27s nearly, and he's looking like he might just go and try and get that today. At the end of the Sector 1 then, has he found any time? He's found 3/10 of a second then. This is looking beautiful at the minute for the Racing Bull, who is up on time in Sector 1, and it is showing purple at the minute then. The quickest driver here at this moment in time, but can he continue this form through the remainder of the lap? Of course, Saudi Arabia, 27 corners on this track, and it is just spectacular. It really, really is. The walls just keep coming at you, and watching this during qualifying like we are right now is such a brilliant sight. See the cars pushing them to the absolute limits. 4.5 of a second then found in that middle sector now. And this Racing Bull is on a roll down towards the final corner here in Saudi Arabia with only 10% battery left to take him towards the line. He's going to try and save some now and, save it all the way through the final corner. He's going to get a little bit more now, and out of the final corner he goes. Here goes Wabin to try and improve on his already quick time. Across the line is a 27.2, nearly a 7.5 of a second found there for the Racing Bull. Nearly in the 26s here with an improvement there. That was a brilliant lap time from Wabin. Looks like it won't be beaten at this moment in time, but we will find out as time goes on. The drivers, of course, coming round to very soon set their final times of the day. Monkey Gamer into the pit lane after an invalidation. We've got Wise Zucchini down in P9. He's on an outlap. And very soon we'll be setting a flying lap, making his way around at this moment in time. Wabin, of course, has just set that pole position time. The only driver out on the track at the moment for a lap soon is Wise Zucchini, who heads round the final corner. He's got no wing on the car, actually, never mind. No wing at all for the McLaren. And now he heads into the pit lane. never mind, he's carrying on. He might just have a wing then. Maybe it's a bit of a glitch. I'm not too sure. We'll see how well he turns into this corner, but his wing is not on that car at all. Okay, he turns in just fine. I think it's a glitch. It looks like it's a glitch because the car is turning well for Wise Zucchini then as he heads down and towards the left-hand side. Or is it a glitch? I don't know. Oh, that's definitely not a glitch. He cannot turn the car at all. Okay, Wise Zucchini then will be coming into the pit lane, you know, very, very soon. 2.5 minutes left. Waving into the pit lane now. Wild Track comes out and now is on an out lap. He is ready to start a lap very, very soon. And him and Monkey Gamer both out on the track, as well as SD Bookie now coming out. And Mickey Deer too behind that. We've also got a few more coming out of the pit lane. Sorry, in front of him, there's a Mercedes of Johnny coming out. Everybody now exiting the pit lane and getting ready for a push lap here in Saudi Arabia, and it will be the final push lap as well here for this qualifying session. Waving currently on pole. He goes into the pit lane now. He will not have time to come out again and go once more. He might just be able to do it if he really does try, but to be honest, it's looking like there's no point at all, really. There's a lot of time between him and the man behind, and it isn't looking like anyone's going to be able to gain that much. Surely not. It was an incredible lap time from Waven, but is it going to be beaten is the question. It's not looking likely at the minute, but we will find out with 1:50 to go. And nearly every single driver here now on an out lap, getting ready for their final push lap of tonight. Johnny in second place then. George in third on an out lap as well. Mickey Deer 5. SD Bookie in 6. Monkey Gamer 7. Wild Track in 8. Wild Track down in 8 at the minute, but the closest driver towards the line for the final times of the day heads into the final corner now then, braking hard, and he's going to hard accelerate out as well. And now it will be foot to the floor for the line. And Wild Track then with 85% battery, burning loads of it down in towards turn 1. This needs to be a good lap for him then down in P8. And he's got a lot of time between him and Monkey Gamer. 2 seconds at least need to be found then to gain a place on Monkey Gamer here. We're going to find out what kind of pace level he's at then as he heads through the first sector right now. And through the quite technical first few corners where if you get one entry or exit wrong, the next few corners are completely messed up. Wild Track currently hitting all the apexes well. This is looking really nicely, actually, as he now brakes a little bit through there, then to allow himself to clip the apex through. Now towards the end of Sector 1 then. Wild Track with a 1.5 improvement. This is looking more like it. Looking very nice indeed at the moment. We're going to go back to the Mercedes as well of SD Bookie. See if, Johnny. And see if Johnny is finding time. He's found 0.2 of a second then in the middle sector. It is fastest Sector 1 for Johnny C at this moment in time. It's looking really, really nice for him at the moment then. As we go back to Wild Track, who's on an app as well, and we'll see if he can make an improvement down towards the end of Sector 2. His first sector was an improvement. Can he do the same in Sector 2? It's 1.3 seconds found now in that middle sector. He's finding a hell of a lot of time. Is Wild Track at the moment in the Williams as he's going to round this lap off down towards the final corner. What can he do? His teammate Mickey Deer up in 5. Qualifying is complete. If you didn't make it towards the line now, that is it for your qualifying session. Round the final corner. Wild Track then here in quali from P8 on the grid. Wants to make an improvement to start higher today for the Grand Prix. Wild Track over the line to 29.3, but no positions gained here this evening. Johnny then, he's improving by 0.4 of a second over the line for Johnny. Not enough for pole, about 0.4 of a second behind here as up towards the line. Some more drivers as well. George now takes second place. Johnny down to 3. But what a qualifying that was, ladies and gentlemen. And it ends very abruptly as the drivers get on with it pretty quickly. And there is your finishing results, ladies and gentlemen. 0.2 of a second, Waben takes pole by over George Molly in second place. That is your front row of the grid, joined by Johnny and Mickey Deer on the second row. Gaza and SD Bookie on the third row of the grid, joined by Monkey Gamer and Wild Track in 7 and 8. And then 9 is Wise Zucchini. Next up is the Grand Prix. Well, here we go then, ladies and gentlemen, on the grid for the Grand Prix this evening. 5 lights ahead of the drivers. And it's lights out, and away we go, waving off the line really well in the Racing Bull, then starting from pole and not got any competition in towards turn 1 here in Saudi Arabia, but he does lock up. Round goes 2 drivers then as the Haas of George Molly goes around, as well as Mickey Deer as well at the back in P9. Zucchini gets 2 places gained, then up to P7 as Waben gets really well, 1.1 seconds ahead now. Gazza into second place, and we look behind, it's Johnny in third, still in the same place as where he started today. SD Bookie then in the same place as well, running really well in P6. George Molly with a horrible start then, 5 places down from second place. George now down to P7, has a lot of gaining to do after spinning on the very first lap of this race. Now gaining on SD Bookie for an overtake up the inside line. Tries to make a move there, but not enough, and actually compromises his entry now as the Mercedes gets a much better exit, and the Haas car is able to still follow behind impressively. One lap in then of 25 laps of racing here in Saudi Arabia, and the Mercedes goes a little bit off the track here as George Molly's going to try and take it on him. Can he make a move up the inside line, gaining on the backside here, using all the slipstream that he can get then. Bit of a tow here, all the way down in towards the left hand of the Haas car, up the inside line, not leaving any room for error, as through goes George Molly, and very, very confident from him as he gets into P6. No DRS on this lap around. The next lap, the DRS will be activated, and you're going to see some very, very exciting games in towards this corner, turn 27, where, of course, drivers behind are going to want to wait to save that DRS. You're going to see some kind of failed overtakes through there as they're going to wait and save for the DRS down this main straight, which is going to be enabled this lap around. Mickey Deer then ahead of Zucchini, who did gain 2 places on the start, then went down to the back of the grid again and lost all of the work that he's done, unfortunately. Waben still leads, though, by 4 tenths as Gazza is starting to close the gap to him. 4.5 tenths of a second is the gap at the moment in the McLaren, as he's not too far back, and potentially, if he can get the next few corners right, he can bring that down even further. The apexes are all being hit, and it's looking really nicely executed so far, but the gap just gets getting larger between them as Waben just flying, and it is the fastest first sector for him as well. He really is dominating the circuit this evening at the moment, as we've got George Molly then in P6, Wild Track in front of him. Can this Haas driver potentially make an overtake on Wild Track? We've seen George already get ahead of SD Book. He's sending it up the inside line. He's now cutting the corner on the left-hand side, but gains on Wild Track here. I'm not too sure if that was allowed or not, because he's actually got closer to Wild Track through cutting over the corner, but he does still make the overtake on the Williams. George Molly then gets into P5. Now another place gained. Now 3 places away from where he started in second place. Making up the places again then is George, and he currently, everybody actually here, on the medium compound tyres. So it's going to be all the same strategy for everybody here this evening. It's going to mean a very, very popular and busy pit lane later on, as Laban with a 1:31.235 as the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, 3 laps in of 25 here. He's leading in the Racing Bull at the minute. Is Gazzy behind in second place, Johnny C in third. That is your top 3 at the moment here, and then in Saudi Arabia. Then it's Monkey Gamer 4, George Molly 5, joined by Wild Track in 6. SD Bookie got deposited down to 7 and left then in the background. Mickey Deer in 8, and Zucchini massively behind today and struggling in P9. Of course, in qualifying, no wing at all. He's actually lost the front left end plate here as well now, as Monkey Gamer picks up the first time penalty of the afternoon. As Waven in the Racing Bull has had a very nice start to this Grand Prix today. 3 laps in at 25, and currently the quickest driver on the circuit at the moment. We look behind and George Molly sends an outside line overtake on Monkey. What a move that was for the Haas driver as he gets through into 4. Now 2 places away from his starting position this evening. He needs to gain some more if he wants to get up there. Monkey Gamer on the backside of him here. This is exactly what I was talking about. Waiting behind on purpose now to pick up the DRS down the main straight. It's just the games you've got to play here in Saudi, is now he will get the DRS. This is going to help him massively all the way down in towards turn 1. This is why we do it. He goes around the outside line, does the Ferrari. Monkey regains the place on the DRS. Now into P4 he goes, and George has to wait his turn. Wait behind, as now he's got Wild Track gaining as well. As Wild went a little bit wide there, then we look to the front as well, and George Molly and Monkey Gamer still giving it a really nice battle at the minute. Monkey with a time penalty, which is going to put him at a disadvantage over the Hats driver at the minute, but can this Hats driver make this overtake? Of course, at the minute he would be ahead if we finish like this, but of course he wants to get ahead on track, doesn't he? That's what the racing is all about, and I'm sure he's going to be able to do it as he gains closer and closer to the backside of this Ferrari driver. Here we go, up the inside line. It is an overtake then. The Hats driver gets through past the Ferrari. George into P4 now, makes it look very easy indeed. On lap 4 of 25, soon to become lap 5, with Wabern still your leader by nearly a second here, as Gaza is in with the DRS around the final corner. He will pick the DRS up as we cross the line in a moment's time. Up towards the line then. And they will pick it up. Monkey Gamer got ahead here of George Molly. These guys are still going at it all the way down in towards turn 1. The Haas driver pulls in front of the Ferrari. George up into P4. Monkey Gamer down to 5 as he looks for the inside overtake here on the Haas. Brakes very much later, but not able to get through. George up into P4, I believe now for definite. That looks like he's managed to hold that. And it's George Molly up into 4th place very nicely indeed. Johnny C up in 3rd then, having a bit of pace tonight. He's looking really nice at the minute. On the podium is Johnny C. And running well at this moment in time as he has Gaza in front of him. But the gap is 2.3 seconds, so a little bit of work to do. Well, we are 5 laps in of 25 laps of racing so far, and Wabern as your leader. The gap a second nearly between him and Gaza. And Gaza at the minute, he's very consistent with it, but he's not gaining on time with Wabern. But he's still staying within the same around, the same about time. But can he gain? Can he gain? It is a second the gap now, even with the DRS. He is struggling here. And we look behind again. These guys at the back are really giving it some good action. Wild Track, SD Bookie and Monkey Gamer all within a few tenths of a second here in towards turn 1. The Mercedes on the outside line, nearly 3 abreast in towards the first corner as the Mercedes gets through. Bookie cuts the corner then, and he gets a 3-second time penalty as well. He's into P5, but with a corner cut, picks up time. Wild Track holding in P6 and Monkey behind that. Of course, Monkey with the time penalty too. Mickey Deere in the pit lane then with a brand new wing here for the Williams car, as well as brand new tyres as well. And he's the first driver to make a pit stop, the first driver onto the hard compound tyres today. Oh, a snap there of oversteer for Monkey, as he has to catch the car in the slide and actually losing time to Wild Track in front. Wild Track lost a little bit of time to Bookie as well, and the gap's now really starting to spread out. However, down towards the final few corners, we might just see that get a little bit closer here in Saudi on the 6th lap. Oh, Mickey Deere and Y Zucchini change place as well. Mickey Deere up to P8 now as Y Zucchini. Bit of understeer there as he goes wide into the corner. He's got wing damage on the front and left side. The front left and right side, sorry. As, yeah, you can clearly see, massively struggling to just get the car turned in here. And he must be just struggling to keep it out of the wall. I mean, the corners keep coming at you, and the walls keep coming at you here as well. There's no margin for error at all. Lap 7 and Wabern and Gaza still 1 and 2, but 1.4 seconds between the drivers. Johnny C holding some nice pace, but lost about a second between, to the guys in front at the moment. However, George Molly isn't gaining on him, I don't believe, at this moment in time. So Johnny in a good place then, really on the podium at the minute, and not looking to be losing it as it stands. So really, really doing a decent job. I just heard somebody hit the wall quite hard there, I think. But there's a pit stop for Wise Zucchini as he gets a brand new wing on again. He's now out on the brand new medium, so a two-stop strategy for him at the moment. Monkey Gamer on the backside of Wild Track here, then gaining as much as he can in the Ferrari. This could be an overtake already then, up towards the left-hand side. Quite early for an overtake here for Monkey. Up to P6 he goes. Wild Track drops down a place, but a really nice overtake there for the Ferrari. As Wild Track gains as much as he can for an overtake, but not able to as he switches back underneath now on Monkey Gamer, who's on the outside line. Monkey manages to hold that place, and Wild Track now gaining as much as he can once more with the dose of DRS. Now looks for the inside with a little bit more speed down in towards turn one. Braking later for the Ferrari, which evens them out through the turn one. Ferrari cuts the corner slightly here as well, but Wild Track not able to pull himself in front as the Ferrari with slightly more pace manages to just hold his own up in P6. And yeah, P1 and 2 at the minute, Gazza and Waben. Waben got a really nice start, and he's been mega consistent with the racing so far. Nothing really to complain about from him. And nearly 1.7 seconds the gap between him and the man behind in the McLaren. So he's doing a brilliant job. 8 laps in. I'm interested to see when the medium runners, which is nearly everybody here now, are going to go into the pit lane and get those tyres changed. 7 laps from P1 to P7. All those drivers in that area have done 7 laps on the mediums. So when are they going to go in then? At a track like this, where of course it is hosted at night due to the heat. It's going to be cooler in the evening, but still pretty warm. And tyres are going to start to wear out slightly quicker. But they seem to be okay at the minute, and by looking at them here, they don't look too bad necessarily. I think they can go a little bit longer on these. I think they've got a little bit more in them. Well, the driver's really starting to spread out now. The only closest thing we've got at the moment is between Monkey Gamer and Wild Track, with about half a second between them at the moment, and making their way down to the flying left-hander. We've seen many overtakes through here today. Got to be brave to make your car wide enough to fit up the inside there. Oh, here we go. Waving in the pit lane. This is big. He's 9 laps in on the mediums, and he's the first medium runner with Johnny C now to make a pit stop, as well as George. Is SD Bookie going to go in? No, he doesn't. Wild Track doesn't either. They carry on as Mickey Deere retires from the session. Safety car deployed, I believe, unless that's a VSC. I think it's a virtual. I think it's a virtual safety car. The drivers that carried on the mediums, is it potentially good for them or not? I don't think it is, really. Well, a virtual safety car has been deployed then here for Formula OB-1 here in Saudi Arabia. Round 4, and it is the 10th lap of 25 then, so not far away from that half race distance now. The race getting on quite nicely indeed, and at the minute, Gazza as your leader, SD Boogie 2, Waben in 3, and Yeah, SD Bookie, of course, didn't go into the pit lane. Wayburn has been in, and he's only got 3.5 seconds between them. So Wayburn it will not be long before he's able to go and make that overtake by the looks of it. Wild Track behind him, Monkey Gamer behind that, then it's Johnny C on the brand new hards as DRS is enabled and we go racing again. Then the virtual safety car disappears and green flags all around the circuit as Gaza leads by 17.3 seconds now. Will he go into the pit lane this lap or is he going to leave it a little bit later? 9 laps on the mediums and he's positioned himself for the pit lane. He goes into the pit lane now, does Gaza. It is time for him to go onto the hard compound until the end of this Grand Prix. Gaza in the pit lane now on the lap 11 of 25. SD Bookie making his way around as well. Will he also make a pit stop here? It's looking likely as he heads into the pits now. He does. Wayburn then leads, of course, as he crosses the line. Wayburn will get ahead of the 2 pit stop drivers now, and Gaza, of course, does not get out ahead here. I think virtual safety car messed him up slightly there. But he does come out just behind Wayburn. And the gap 0.8 of a second then. He's actually got closer through this than beforehand. He's only 0.8 of a second here behind Wayburn. But of course the hards, when you've just been out of the pit lane on them, they're very cold and they need warming up. They're going to be a little bit slidey just as you come out. Oh, that is a full safety car. SD Bookie retires from the session. A huge crash from him. And a full safety car has been deployed on lap 11 of 25, ladies and gentlemen. Now this changes the game slightly. 11 laps in a 25, very nearly half race distance, and a full safety car is now out. Wayburn leads. We've just had our pit stops as well, so it's come at a horrible time. But there you have it. Wayburn, Gaza, Johnny C, your top 3 as the safety car comes out. Safety car, of course, waiting for the front few drivers to catch up with it. And then we'll have about 3 laps of driving behind it before we go racing again. Well, everybody behind the safety car now but Wise Zucchini. Should be about 2 more laps now behind the safety car and then we'll go racing again. This does slow it down quite a bit, but of course SD Bookie with a huge crash into the barrier, and I think a big crash was inevitable tonight. A track like this, it usually happens to one driver at least, and of course SD Bookie has unfortunately fallen short tonight, but we've got every single driver here on the hards, apart from Wise Zucchini on the 5-lap old medium tyres. Wazukimi, the 3-second time penalty for corner cutting here as well. But Wabin leading, and he's on the 3-lap old hards. Nearly everybody behind him on pretty much the same and all equal. So this should be a good showdown. The safety car's brought the drivers in now, and hopefully the action's going to be a little bit better, you know, following the safety car going away. But Wabin's been the strongest driver here tonight, and I would not be surprised if he takes it by storm. He really has driven well, and to be honest, it would be a shame for it to be taken away from him because he's had it nearly, you know, half of the race now so far. Well, lap 14 of 25, this is the lap we think we should be going racing. The safety car up in front, and it should be announced now. There we go. Safety car coming in at the end of this lap then. Lap 14 going on to lap 15 is going to be your racing lap now then, and giving us 10 laps of racing action till the end, ladies and gents. Here we go then. Safety car speeds off round the final corner, turn 27 here in Saudi Arabia, as we watch from the corner, and Wabin leads the rest of the drivers through. It is his decision on when they go. He looks like he's already gone, leaving it, never mind, leaving it very, very late. Look at this, all the way towards the line. He doesn't know when he's going to go. There we go, foot flat to the floor then for Wabin. Over the line, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very good start for the Racing Bull. Gasser behind in second place. Johnny C then running in third now. George Molly in four, making the move up the inside line here of the Mercedes. Is this going to be an overtake on him? He tries his best to stick it on the outside. The Mercedes makes slight contact with him. Wheel banging all the way through as George Molly gets into third place. Johnny C now drops down to four. Out of the podium places. Monkey Gamer sends the car up the inside line. He's down to P6 now and spinning it. Monkey down to 6th place this evening now with a time penalty as well, as Waizukini comes out of the pit lane today in P7 at the back of the grid, unfortunately. Wild Track running it wide here, very nearly getting a penalty now because of that. Johnny C running in 4 out of the podium places. Then the top 3, George Molly, Gaza and Wabin as your leader. 10 laps remaining then of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Who's going to go out and win it tonight then? Braking hard in towards the left-hand side now then as Wabin as your race leader in the Racing Bull. Gazzy behind him and George Molly behind that. Lap 16 of 25 begins and the DRS is now finally enabled again after that long safety car. We had a virtual safety car today and now a full safety car after the virtual. George Molly, I believe, started second place today. He did, down one place now since the start. He spun on lap 1 of the Grand Prix after having a bit of a mistake, and now made a mistake again now as he cuts the corner, of course, messing up completely as Gazza does the same. As he gains as much as he can here, then right on the back side of the McLaren. Is it going to be an overtake then, ladies and gentlemen? It is not. But he's sticking on the rear side, and now when he finds that overtake, he finds the gap up the inside line. The Haas driver of George Molly really bringing the action to Gazza here. Will this be an overtake? Still no, as he holds it behind, and Gazza does get into second place here. 3 places gained he has made since the lap 1. 3 places gained, started P5 today. As here's George Molly for the overtake. This is going to put him back in the place where he started today. Brakes later for the inside line, but still not able to get ahead of the McLaren. They're wheel banging through turns 1 and 2 here. Still Gazza ahead, but the Haas car with a little bit extra speed. Here he goes then, looks up the inside, forcing the McLaren off, and the Haas driver makes him go around. The McLaren spins in the background. Really aggressive racing from the drivers. George gets into second place, but Gazza here with wing damage on the front right then. He's really compromised his race here, unfortunately. Gazza down to third, and with wing damage. Might lose a place here to Johnny C soon. Here's Johnny C then making an overtake on Gazza, and we have the Mercedes of Johnny back on the podium tonight. Running it wide through the first few corners here as George Molly goes a little bit deep, and Wabin really holding the advantage at the minute by half a second. Ooh, hitting the barrier there. I believe that was Wabin. You can hear the sound of it scraping. That's got to be wing damage, surely, for one of the drivers here. Nobody has wing damage. Surprisingly, you could hear the wheels screeching up against the side of the wall there. But for the first time today, Wabin might actually be challenged by somebody. And George Molly might be that man in second place. The top 3 all in the same positions as where they started this race earlier on on lap 1. But a position gained for George Molly a moment ago. Now on the backside of Wabin, but does send it a little bit deep into the final corner, turn 27, that allows the Racing Bull to pull ahead slightly here. But the DRS of the Haas might just bring him closer. You get 4/10 of a second then down in towards the final corner. The brilliant helicopter cam all the way down in towards turn 27. Lap 19 is going to become lap 20 as we cross the line in a moment then. And George Molly with 3/10 of a second to Wabern and the DRS now for help. This is going to be an overtake for him. He looks up the inside line. Will the Haas driver clear him? He will clear him for the first time today. The Racing Bull gets overtaken by a driver and George Molly gets into the lead of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix here in round 4 of Formula OB-1. Here comes Wabern again for the overtake. He's back through past George Molly now on lap 20. He is through, but he might have just fallen for a bit of a trick here by George, who will now get the DRS. He's going to be able to get right back past him again. He didn't want to do that, did he? Lap 21 to 25 now. George Molly sends it up the inside line for an overtake here on Wabern. He's once again back through it towards turn 1 as George now leads the Grand Prix once again. Wabern loses the place down to 2, but now he knows not to make that overtake just before the final corner. He needs to stick behind and wait, be patient for that DRS. Johnny C as well holding good pace today. He is 8.3 seconds behind the drivers in front, but the drivers behind him are equally 6.5 seconds behind, so he's in a good place at the moment. Oh, we're going to get it again. It's looking like Wabern's going to already make that overtake. He's done it again. He needs to wait behind here. As he keeps going at it, here comes George Molly then for an overtake once more. He looks up the inside. Wabern keeps making that overtake way too early now. It's going to, allow this to happen every single lap. Through goes George Molly on lap 22 or 25. Now Wabern behind once again. Full safety car, ladies and gentlemen, has been deployed again. It is Wise Zucchini out of the Grand Prix now in the very late stages. The safety car has to go away to give 2 final laps of racing. So we are going to get it going away on lap 24. We're literally going to have it for a lap or so. This is getting a bit crazy towards the end. George Molly leads ahead from Wabin in second place behind the safety car, and they're all going to come in now for brand new tyres till the end. Johnny C in third then will be coming in as well, I'm sure of it, as well as Wild Track, Gaza and Monkey Game, and surely everybody will do the same thing here. Yep, everybody coming in now for new tyres. Monkey, though, heading very slowly. He goes into the pit lane too, and that'll be every single driver now with new tyres. Sorry, there's 10-second time penalty for Wild Track here. Right, the final few laps, my mic has been muted. I've just realised. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe that. Well, I am back, everybody. This is your finishing results. It was a brilliant Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. George then wins from Wave in second place, Johnny C third, Gaza 4, Monkey 5, and then everybody else retires from the session. I do apologise about the ending there. My mic was muted for the final few laps. That's so aggravating.